What's happening? Olivia Chan whispered to herself, frozen in place as her boss Ethan Brooks approached her for what felt like the first time. His blue eyes, usually distant and preoccupied, were fixed directly on her, sending her heart racing beneath her oversized sweater. "You're Olivia Chan?" he asked, genuine surprise lacing his voice as champagne cascaded from his expensive suit jacket. "The one who penned the Patterson analysis?" But that moment arrived later, much later. 3 months prior, Olivia adjusted her round glasses nervously as she stepped into the gleaming headquarters of Horizon Marketing Group in Chicago. The receptionist hardly glanced up as she stumbled over her name. "You'll find human resources on the 12th floor," the woman said, sliding a visitor badge across the counter. With her messenger bag brimming with notebooks and analytics textbooks, Olivia approached the elevator, mentally organizing data points as was her habit in moments of anxiety. 43 ceiling panels. In the lobby, 8 employees avoided eye contact, 6 were engaged in lively phone conversations, and none offered her a smile. Marcus Washington stood out as the anomaly. The IT director welcomed her with a friendly smile as the HR representative brought her to his desk for the computer setup. "Another intern, I see?" he smiled, his dreadlocks neatly tied back. "No need to look so scared. Some of us are quite friendly," he said, lowering his voice. "Just be cautious of Victoria Reynolds in accounts. Her ambition is razor-sharp." "I'm feeling a bit anxious about meeting Mr. Brooks," Olivia confessed, adjusting her glasses. "His marketing strategies are groundbreaking. The way he fused behavioral economics with innovative messaging in the Airwave campaign was exceptional." Marcus raised an eyebrow. "Impressive, you really did your research," he said, handing her a laptop. "Consider this a heads up. Ethan possesses remarkable brilliance, yet he often seems to inhabit a realm of his own creation. Try not to take it to heart if he appears a bit aloof." Far away was merely scratching the surface. As Olivia was introduced to Ethan Brooks during the weekly staff meeting, he looked up briefly from his phone, offered a vague nod, and promptly resumed his discussion with Victoria Reynolds, who stood tall and polished in a striking red power suit, exuding authority. "Olivia will be assisting with data analytics for the upcoming 6 months," the department head clarified. "Excellent. Welcome, Olive," Ethan remarked, his gaze still fixed elsewhere. "It's Olivia, actually," she gently corrected. No one noticed her. In the following weeks, Olivia created a pattern. She came in early, stayed late, and delivered flawless analyses that somehow never seemed to catch her boss's attention. Her emails garnered only terse replies, if at all. In meetings, her ideas went unnoticed until someone else, typically Victoria, echoed them with greater volume and assurance. "How's invisibility treating you?" Marcus inquired one evening, discovering her solitary in the break room. "I saved the company $50,000 with my inventory optimization model," Olivia said, stirring her tea with a hint of disappointment. "Ethan called me Ophelia when I handed him the report." "That's tough," Marcus replied, wincing. "But your work is impressive. Eventually, he'll notice. Maybe if I were more like Victoria?" Olivia sighed, observing through the glass as the account executive leaned over Ethan's desk, laughing at something he said. "God help us," Marcus muttered. "One Victoria is enough." When Horizon announced a client cocktail party, Marcus persuaded Olivia to join, instead of retreating behind her data models. "Choose something unforgettable," he suggested. "Stand out." That evening, Olivia swapped her typical subdued hues for a striking red dress she had borrowed from her roommate. She traded her sensible flats for elegant heels and allowed her dark hair to cascade freely around her shoulders, departing from her typical messy bun. In the initial hour, her approach appeared to falter. She pressed against the wall, observing Ethan navigate the crowd with an ease that seemed almost magical, while Victoria circled him like a fashionably dressed moon. "You should really go and speak with him," Marcus urged, offering her a glass of champagne. "Bring up your work on the Patterson account." "He likely doesn't even recall it," Olivia argued. "There's only one way to discover." Summoning her courage, Olivia traversed the room, weaving through groups of chatter. Ethan led the way, with Victoria's hand firmly resting on his arm as she leaned closer to share a secret. Olivia paused, filled with doubt about her decision. At that moment, her heel snagged on the carpet. She lurched ahead, her arms flailing, propelling her tray of champagne flutes straight into Ethan's torso. The atmosphere grew still. Champagne cascaded down Ethan's lavish suit. Victoria's gasp was dramatic. "I truly apologize," Olivia stuttered, hastily snatching cocktail napkins and awkwardly attempting to blot his jacket. "I'm just so clumsy. I didn't intend." Yet Ethan was not paying attention. He gazed at her employee badge, now clearly visible with her proximity. "Are you Olivia Chen?" he inquired, a note of genuine surprise coloring his voice. "The one behind the Patterson analysis." Olivia stood still, napkins clutched tightly in her hands. "Yes, I've been eager to meet you for weeks," he said, his strikingly blue eyes, framed by long lashes, locked onto her for the very first time. "Your predictive model was brilliant. But I've been here the whole time," Olivia said, her confusion overshadowing any sense of embarrassment. "We've met before." Ethan appeared genuinely puzzled. "I believed you were an external consultant operating from a distance. Everything you do is transmitted through digital means." Victoria's smile faltered beside him. "Ethan, your jacket is damaged. Allow me to assist you with the cleanup." Yet Ethan remained still. "What's happening?" he inquired, his gaze fixed on Olivia, a spark of curiosity igniting within him. Have I truly been this oblivious? On the Monday following the cocktail party fiasco, Olivia showed up early as she always did, anticipating that nothing would be different. She had devoted the weekend to oscillating between the embarrassment of dousing her boss in champagne and the peculiar thrill of finally capturing his attention. She almost spilled her tea upon discovering Ethan casually leaning against her cubicle, 2 coffee cups in his grasp. "I wasn't sure how you take your coffee," he admitted, a hint of embarrassment flickering across his typically assured features, a sight she had never encountered before. "I have choices." "You brought me coffee?" Olivia scrutinized the cups with a hint of skepticism. "It felt like the bare minimum after coming to terms with how unaware I've been of your presence for weeks." He gave a humble smile that brightened his features, making him appear younger and more inviting. "I went through all your analyses over the weekend. Your work is exceptional, Olivia." The way he pronounced her name, her true name, sent a flutter through her chest. "Thank you," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "I prefer it with just a splash of milk for future reference." "Understood," he replied, passing her the lighter-colored cup. "And I would like you to attend the Westfield pitch meeting this morning. Your data insights could be exactly what we need." Victoria's meticulously crafted appearance dimmed as Ethan entered the conference room, accompanied by Olivia. "I wasn't aware interns would be joining us today," she said, her tone laced with a sugary charm. "Olivia's not just any intern," Ethan responded with a casual confidence. "She's the genius behind the Patterson analysis that spared us from a $200,000 blunder." For the first time in her 3 months at Horizon, Olivia sensed eyes on her that weren't merely passing over her. She held her notebook firmly, inhaled deeply, and settled beside Ethan. Throughout the meeting, each time Olivia spoke, Ethan truly paid attention. He posed follow-up questions, expanded on her thoughts, and on 2 occasions, silenced Victoria when she attempted to interrupt her. As the session concluded, they crafted a strategy for Westfield that seamlessly combined Ethan's imaginative vision with Olivia's analytical insights. "That was impressive," Ethan remarked as they made their way back to their individual offices. "The way you pinpointed those subtle trends in the demographic data is something that would escape most people's notice. Most people don't spend Saturday nights with spreadsheets," Olivia confessed, a hint of color rising to her cheeks. "I mean, I really do enjoy the analytics. It's not sad or anything?" Ethan chuckled, a true laugh that brought a sparkle to his eyes. "I dedicate my Saturday nights to refining copy that's already received the green light, so I understand." In the following weeks, a new dynamic unfolded. Ethan began to actively seek Olivia's insights, invited her to meetings, and made it a point to bring her coffee each morning, always with a hint of milk. Occasionally, they stayed late, the office gradually emptying as they polished presentations and strategies. "You don't have to stay," Olivia remarked one evening, glancing at the clock. "I can complete the Westfield projections." "I know," Ethan responded, loosening his tie. "Yet, I desire to. By the way, have you had a chance to eat? I was considering placing an order." That evening, while enjoying Thai food in the conference room, their discussion meandered from work topics to films, music, and eventually to family matters. "My parents had aspirations for me to become a doctor," Olivia confessed. "They arrived from Taiwan with nothing. Mom's a nurse, Dad's a pharmacist. They consider marketing to be trivial. And what are your thoughts on it?" Ethan inquired, examining her expression. Data has the power to narrate stories that can transform people's thoughts, emotions, and actions. That's impactful, not trivial. Ethan acknowledged with a deliberate nod. That's precisely the point. Many individuals in the creative field fail to grasp that aspect. Their evenings stretched longer and longer. At times, Marcus would come across them immersed in their tasks, and he would shake his head with a knowing expression before taking his leave. "Just colleagues, are we?" He playfully nudged Olivia one day in the break room. "Exactly that," she insisted, brushing aside the warmth that enveloped her each time Ethan leaned over her shoulder to glance at her monitor, his cologne distracting her from the spreadsheets. Victoria observed as well. "You've really mastered the art of being the favorite," she remarked icily after a meeting where Ethan had favored Olivia's method over hers. "Don't settle in too easily. Interns may pass through, yet executives like Ethan and I share a unique understanding that transcends the ordinary." Just as Olivia was about to reply, her phone vibrated. A message arrived from Ethan. "Emergency. Need you. My office now." She discovered him pacing, phone glued to his ear. "Indeed, I comprehend. Thank you, doctor," he said, his voice strained. He ended the call and raked his fingers through his typically flawless hair. "What's wrong?" Olivia inquired. "My sister. Collision on the road. She's in surgery." His voice wavered just a bit. "I must reach Boston, but rescheduling the Davis meeting for tomorrow isn't an option, and the Westfield presentation remains incomplete. And, go," Olivia interjected with determination. "I'll take care of Davis. I'll complete Westfield. Just go be with your sister." Ethan gazed at her, a hint of vulnerability taking over his usual self-assured demeanor. "You'd really do that?" "Certainly," she replied gently. "Family comes first." He wrapped his arms around her in a swift, tight embrace that surprised her. "Thank you, Olivia," he murmured softly into her hair. She observed him hurry away, her heart pounding for reasons unrelated to work and entirely connected to the way he had embraced her, as if she were something valuable and essential. Later that night, as she completed the Westfield deck, her phone illuminated with a message from Ethan. "The operation was a success. Emily is doing well. Your ability to manage everything is truly impressive. This will stay with me." The next morning, Marcus discovered her, smiling at her phone. "Only colleagues?" he inquired, an eyebrow arched. "He was in crisis," Olivia insisted. "I was being supportive." "Aha!" Marcus acknowledged. "And that smile on your face is purely professional satisfaction." It is. Yet even she couldn't convince herself of that anymore. By Olivia's 4th month at Horizon, the transformation was evident. No longer the overlooked intern, she had evolved into Ethan's indispensable partner in client meetings and strategy sessions. Their synergy was unmistakable. He would introduce a creative idea. She would evaluate its data-driven viability, and together they would hone it into something neither could have achieved independently. "The dynamic duo strikes again," Marcus remarked after they secured the Westfield account, outshining 3 larger agencies. "I've never seen Ethan collaborate so effectively with anyone," Victoria observed. Her smiles became more constrained, her remarks more pointed. When the Davis Corporation requested Olivia specifically for their account, Victoria cornered her in the kitchen. "Savoring your moment in the spotlight?" she inquired, swirling her coffee with deliberate finesse. "It's adorable that you believe this will last." "I'm simply fulfilling my responsibilities," Olivia responded, striving to maintain her composure. "Darling, I've been here for 3 years. I've watched Ethan's special projects rise and fall." Victoria leaned in closer. "And believe me, they all fade away in time." Just as Olivia was about to reply, Ethan stepped into the room. "Olivia, do you have a moment? I could really use your thoughts on something." In his office, Ethan appeared preoccupied, moving back and forth as he discussed campaign metrics. "Is everything all right?" Olivia finally inquired. "You appear concerned." He halted his pacing, examining her expression. "My sister Emily requires another surgery. It's not pressing, but—" He paused, then carried on. "The medical professionals are expressing worry regarding possible complications. She's asking for me to be there." "Then you should go," Olivia replied without a moment's pause. "It's more complex than that. The opportunity in Paris is immense. Mondial Brands has the potential to significantly expand our international presence. The presentation is scheduled for next week, and they have specifically asked for my participation." Olivia paused to consider. "What if we both attend? I can manage the data aspect and bolster your imaginative proposal. We've been collaborating on it all along." Ethan's face lit up. "You would really do that?" "Absolutely. Moreover," she remarked with a faint smile, "I've never had the chance to visit Paris." "It's decided, then. We'll head to Paris, ace the presentation, and then I can make my way to Boston feeling at ease." He smiled, the relief shining through his expression. "You're pretty incredible, did you know that?" The words lingered in the air, heavy with an unspoken tension that neither dared to acknowledge. Later that day, Olivia was diligently compiling her research when, without warning, her computer crashed unexpectedly. She discovered Marcus in his workspace, encircled by screens. "What's with that look?" he inquired, lifting his gaze from the keyboard. "Technical difficulties. I'm heading to Paris next week, along with Ethan." Marcus raised his eyebrows in surprise. "Paris? How intriguing. Everything is moving along smoothly. Is the task at hand, Marcus, the Mondial presentation?" "Ah, just the two of you in the city of love, toiling away in hotel rooms." "Stop it," she chuckled, her cheeks turning a rosy hue. "Nothing will occur." "If you say so," Marcus responded, his skepticism evident in his demeanor. "However, I offer a piece of advice. Proceed with caution. Workplace relationships can be intricate on their own, and introducing the dynamic of a superior and subordinate only complicates matters further." "There's no romance," Olivia maintained. "We collaborate effectively as a team. Continue to reassure yourself of that." As Marcus diligently repaired her laptop, Olivia caught sight of Victoria observing them from a distance across the office. "Let me sort out your computer before all your valuable data disappears," Marcus said, focused on his task. Her gaze held a certain calculating quality that left Olivia feeling uneasy. The trip to Paris came upon us with astonishing swiftness. They arrived in the early morning, settled into their hotel, each in their own room, naturally, and dedicated the day to polishing their presentation while sipping espresso at charming sidewalk cafes. That evening, having refined the presentation materials to perfection, Ethan proposed a stroll. "We ought to experience at least a glimpse of Paris while we're in the city." They wandered beside the Seine, where the evening light brushed the city with gentle hues of pink and gold. As the street musicians filled the air with their melodies, couples strolled by, fingers intertwined, and Olivia found herself succumbing to the enchantment of the moment. Not solely for Paris, but for the companion at her side. "You've transformed my approach," Ethan said abruptly, pausing to rest against the stone wall that overlooked the river. "Prior to our meeting, I relied solely on instinct and imaginative bursts, purely imaginative. You've taught me how to anchor my thoughts in something tangible. And you've shown me that data lacks significance without a narrative to breathe life into it, she said gently. He turned to her, his demeanor earnest. Olivia, I believe we need to discuss. Just then, his phone rang, interrupting the moment. Ethan scowled at the display. It's Victoria. She only calls when, he replied. Victoria. What? Take it easy. Olivia observed the shift in his expression, moving from irritation to worry. We'll take care of it, he said at last, ending the call. There's an issue with the Westfield campaign. Victoria points out a significant mistake in the demographic targeting. The client is threatening to pull out. That can't be right, Olivia said, her brow furrowing in confusion. I triple-checked those numbers myself. Victoria mentions that the reports are on her desk. We must examine them as soon as we return. The enchantment of Paris faded, giving way to persistent worry. What mistake might she have overlooked? What was it about Victoria that led her to discover it? The Mondial presentation unfolded flawlessly the following day, yet the unexpressed moment by the Seine lingered in the air throughout their entire flight back to Chicago. Upon their arrival, Ethan received an urgent call to attend a board meeting. Go ahead. I'll look into the Westfield situation, Olivia assured him. She discovered Victoria in the conference room alongside several executives, with spreadsheets displayed on the wall. Ah, here she is, Victoria remarked, her smile lacking warmth. I was just detailing how I identified these crucial mistakes before they could completely undermine the campaign. Olivia gazed at the screen, stunned. The figures were incorrect, profoundly incorrect, yet they did not belong to her. These aren't my projections, she said, as confusion transformed into clarity. These have been altered. Victoria's smile remained unwavering. I have the files you submitted right here, complete with your signature on the data verification form. As the executives whispered among themselves, Olivia sensed the ground shifting beneath her. Something felt deeply amiss, and for the first time since that fateful night at the cocktail party, she found herself shrouded in invisibility once more. Yet this time it was no mere accident. The board meeting stretched late into the night. Olivia sat at her desk, gazing at the manipulated data, attempting to unravel the mystery of what had transpired. Victoria had somehow tampered with her analysis, creating the illusion that Olivia had committed significant mistakes that Victoria subsequently rectified. When Ethan finally stepped out of the boardroom, his expression was weary. He walked by her desk, not sparing a glance, and made his way directly to his office, shutting the door firmly behind him. Olivia felt a tightness in her stomach. She tapped gently on his door. Not now, his weary voice replied. Ethan, I need to explain about the Westfield data. The door swung open suddenly. Explain what, Olivia? Why did the board spend 3 hours scrutinizing my judgment over fundamental analytical mistakes that Victoria had to fix? The familiar warmth had faded, giving way to a palpable sense of exhaustion and uncertainty. Those weren't my numbers, Olivia insisted. Someone altered my analysis after I submitted it. Ethan ran a hand through his hair, frustration evident in his posture. Victoria presented the documents bearing your electronic signature. The timestamp aligns perfectly with your submission date. She must have done something to them, Olivia remarked, a hint of desperation lacing her voice. Could you please have Marcus take a look at the server logs? He could. That's enough. Ethan's tone was soft yet resolute. I stood up for you. I shared with everyone how remarkable you are. And now the board is questioning whether I've allowed my personal feelings to interfere with my professional judgment. The words struck Olivia with the force of a physical blow. Personal feelings? He averted his gaze. Victoria mentioned that our professional relationship has grown too intimate. That I've been favoring you. And you believe her? Olivia whispered. Ethan's silence spoke volumes. I understand, Olivia said, straightening her shoulders. I won't trouble you with my shortcomings any further. She retrieved an envelope from her bag, something she had meticulously prepared during the lengthy wait, a contingency she had hoped to avoid, my resignation effective immediately. She set it down on his desk and exited before he could catch a glimpse of her tears. The following morning, Olivia awoke to a flurry of missed calls from Marcus and a single text from Ethan. "We need to talk." She dismissed them all, turning her attention to revising her resume instead. By the afternoon, she had submitted applications to 5 different companies. As the evening settled in, she gathered her desk plants and analytics books, grappling with the thought of a future devoid of the work she cherished and the man she had unwisely let into her heart. Her apartment seemed to shrink around her, the walls pressing in as she attempted to escape into the haze of mindless television. As the doorbell chimed at 9, she figured it must be the Chinese food she had requested. Instead, Marcus lingered in the hallway, laptop tucked under his arm. "You're not answering your phone." "I quit," she replied, yet she moved aside to allow him entry. "Yeah, about that. Can you explain why you left without a word?" Marcus placed his laptop on her coffee table, wondering why Victoria was strutting around the office as if she had just hit the jackpot. Olivia laid it all out, the manipulated data, Ethan's skepticism, her decision to resign. Marcus listened, his expression growing somber. "That doesn't sound like Ethan. Even when he's mistaken, he lacks malice." "Will people astonish you?" Olivia remarked with bitterness. "At times they certainly do," Marcus concurred as he opened his laptop. "Just like Victoria. Did you know she remotely accessed your computer last week while we were fixing it? I noticed some unusual network activity and decided to install a monitoring program." He turned the screen toward Olivia, displaying logs of file access and modifications. "She has been making adjustments to your work for weeks, starting with minor changes, then larger ones. The Westfield data was merely the climax of it all." Olivia gazed at the evidence, a tumult of relief and fury battling inside her. "We need to show Ethan," Marcus grimaced. "That's the other thing. Ethan has been attempting to get in touch with you." His sister's condition took a turn for the worse unexpectedly, prompting him to fly to Boston this morning. He mentioned that he regrets what happened and feels that there are inconsistencies in the entire scenario. Olivia sank down onto her couch with a weighty sigh. "So now what?" "Now," Marcus said, cracking his knuckles, "we gather irrefutable evidence. I'm going to need your assistance in creating a digital trail that even the board cannot overlook." For the next 3 days, Olivia and Marcus collaborated remotely, piecing together every file that Victoria had altered. They retrieved original data from server backups, recorded instances of unauthorized access, and constructed a thorough case. In the meantime, Olivia found herself presented with an enticing opportunity from Meridian Strategy, the largest rival of Horizon based in Boston. The moment felt destined, a new beginning in the very city where Ethan was now with his sister. "Are you going to take it?" Marcus inquired when she shared the news of the offer. "I don't know," Olivia confessed. "Part of me wants to escape from all of this. And the other part," she let out a sigh. "The other part isn't prepared to abandon Horizon, to let go of what I've created there." Her phone vibrated with a message from Ethan. "I'll be back tomorrow. We need to have a conversation. Please." "Speak of the devil," Marcus remarked, casting a glance at her phone. "What will you do next?" Olivia gazed at the message, her heart racing in a way that felt almost treacherous. "I'm going to listen to what he has to say. Then I'll make my choice." The following evening, Olivia sat anxiously in a coffee shop close to her apartment. She opted for a public setting, hesitant to jeopardize the intimacy of her home or the dynamics of the workplace. As Ethan entered, he appeared altered, leaner, weary, with days of stubble casting a shadow on his jawline. What caught her off guard the most were the glasses resting on his nose, with simple round frames reminiscent of her own. He noticed her and approached, hesitation evident in each stride. "I appreciate you taking the time to meet with me," he said, settling into his seat across from her. "Marcus mentioned that your sister's condition has deteriorated," Olivia replied, maintaining a steady tone. "How is she? Is she doing better now?" They discovered a clot they had overlooked. He took off his glasses, massaging the bridge of his nose. Emily insisted I get my eyes checked while I was there. It appears that I've required glasses for quite some time now. Perhaps it's a matter of pride that keeps me from acknowledging it. That's why you never saw me, Olivia blurted out before she could catch herself. Ethan's expression shifted, disappointment washing over him. I earned that. Olivia, I deeply regret what happened. Marcus revealed it all to me, the manipulation by Victoria, the modified documents. I should never have doubted you. No, you shouldn't have, she conceded, her voice more composed than her emotions. You decided to trust Victoria instead of me, despite all that we had accomplished together. I was unaware in more ways than one, he confessed. When Victoria implied that my emotions were clouding my judgment, I felt a surge of anxiety. The board had begun to scrutinize my choice to dispatch an intern to Paris. I'm not merely an intern, Olivia stated softly. No, Ethan conceded, cautiously extending his hand toward hers across the table. You're not. You're the most brilliant, genuine person I've ever worked with, and I've been a fool. His touch ignited a spark up her arm, yet she wasn't prepared to forgive so readily. I received a job offer from Meridian in Boston. His grip on her hand grew firmer. Are you going to take it? I don't know yet, she replied with sincerity, but I understand I can't return to a life of obscurity. I refuse to let you fade into the background, Ethan declared, his eyes unwavering. I long to be with you, to experience every moment together, yet I respect your need for space. The earnestness in his tone caused her determination to falter. What happens now? She inquired. Now, Ethan replied, adjusting his glasses. We make things right, starting with Victoria. Olivia's apartment had taken on a new atmosphere. For days, it had served as a sanctuary from shame and sorrow. Now, it transformed into the command center for what Marcus fervently dubbed Operation Expose Victoria. We have everything we need, Marcus declared, fanning out the printouts across Olivia's coffee table. Server logs revealed Victoria's access to your files, backup copies of your original work, and timestamps indicating that the alterations occurred while you were in Paris. Olivia nodded, examining the evidence closely. Will it be sufficient? It ought to be, Ethan replied. He lounged on her couch, an odd yet fitting presence in her living room, his new glasses lending him an air of intellect that perfectly complemented him. The board places great importance on data. This is information they cannot overlook. On the topic of data, Marcus remarked, pushing another printout in their direction, I've uncovered something troubling. Victoria has been accessing confidential client information and transmitting it to an external email address. It appears she's been marketing herself to competitors, providing them with insider knowledge. Ethan's expression turned steely. That goes beyond mere ethics. It could be against the law. Olivia bit her lip. Will this damage Horizon's reputation? The clients may not take kindly to the fact that their information was compromised. Always considering the company, Ethan replied with a gentle smile. Despite all that has happened, I value the work we accomplished, Olivia responded, locking eyes with him. That hasn't changed. The moment lingered between them until Marcus finally broke the silence, clearing his throat. If you two could pause your silent exchanges for just a second. A strategy is essential. Victoria is well connected with individuals on the board. She'll have justifications prepared, rationalizations for every situation. Then we must be irrefutable, Ethan stated, a demonstration that allows no space for uncertainty. Olivia straightened, her mind sharpening with focus. We should structure it like we would for a client. Begin by outlining the issue, provide the supporting details, and then suggest a resolution. That's my data, girl, Ethan remarked, his face turning red right after. Let's focus on the task at hand before we indulge in any playful banter, Marcus interjected. Yet, a smile graced his face. They toiled through the night, Olivia meticulously arranging the evidence into a captivating story, while Ethan sculpted the messaging to strike a chord with the board. Marcus included technical documentation that was accessible enough for even the most non-technical board member to grasp. By morning, they had crafted an extensive presentation. As they collected their belongings to make their way to the office, Ethan discreetly drew Olivia aside. "Whatever happens today," he said softly, "I want you to know I believe in you entirely." The words enveloped her in warmth, yet a sense of caution held her defenses in place. "Let's just focus on getting through this." At the office, Victoria's initial surprise at seeing Olivia swiftly transformed into a measured smile. "Back so soon? I believed Boston was beckoning. I had matters left unresolved here," Olivia responded with composure. The urgent board meeting was scheduled for noon. While they waited, Olivia received an email from Meridian. They required her response by the end of the day. The weight of the decision bore down on her as she practiced her segment of the presentation. Upon entering the boardroom, she found Victoria already present, exuding confidence in a striking red suit. The board members, 6 men and 2 women, sat in silence, their faces reflecting a veneer of professional neutrality as they awaited the proceedings. "I see that you have some reservations regarding the management of internal data," the chairwoman started. Ethan advanced with purpose. "We do, and we have evidence of serious misconduct that has jeopardized client relationships and company integrity." For the next 40 minutes, they laid out their case with precision and clarity. Olivia navigated the technical evidence with clarity and precision. Marcus showcased the digital trail revealing Victoria's tampering. Ethan linked everything to the broader themes of trust and corporate values. Victoria's expression hardened further as her barriers fell away, one after another. "This is absurd," she finally interjected. "You're placing your trust in an intern rather than an executive who has 3 years of experience. This situation is undeniably intimate. Ethan has been captivated by her since their time in Paris." The accusation lingered, heavy and palpable. Olivia sensed a flush rise to her cheeks, yet she maintained a calm and composed tone. "The information is clear on its own. Numbers are truthful, even when individuals are not." The board chairman leaned forward. "Ms. Reynolds, can you clarify why you accessed Ms. Chen's files without permission?" Victoria's calm demeanor faltered. "I was attempting to safeguard the company." Her work fell short of expectations. Ethan was too consumed by his emotions to notice it. "And the sensitive client information that was sent to external emails," the chairman went on. Victoria's complexion drained of color. That had evidently taken her by surprise. By the time they finished, Victoria's defense had crumbled entirely. The board requested that she remain outside as they engaged in their deliberations. In the corridor, Victoria confronted Olivia. "Savor this moment. It's not finished yet." "Actually, it is," Olivia responded, taken aback by her own tranquility. "The distinction between us lies in my genuine investment in the work, rather than merely seeking advancement." The board acted quickly and resolutely. Victoria was let go on the spot. Security guided her out of the building while the staff looked on in shocked silence. Later, the chairwoman requested Olivia to remain behind. "Ms. Chun, we must extend our sincerest apologies to you. Your efforts have been outstanding, and you've demonstrated incredible integrity in challenging situations." "Thank you," Olivia replied, still absorbing it all. "We are pleased to extend an offer for a permanent position. As a junior data strategist, she would be reporting directly to the board instead of Mr. Brooks, ensuring there was no hint of impropriety. Olivia blinked in surprise. I'll need to ponder this, naturally, but we would require your response promptly, by the end of the day if feasible." The irony was not lost on her. 2 job offers awaited a decision by day's end, presenting a pivotal moment. She discovered Ethan in his office, gazing out the window. "They offered me a permanent position," she remarked from the threshold. He pivoted, his face a mask of ambiguity. "I heard that the board is the one being reported to, not me, I thought. And Meridian is still awaiting a response regarding Boston." Ethan nodded slowly. "What are you going to do?" I don't know, she confessed. A part of me feels drawn to remain at Horizon. The work holds significance for me. But another part desires Boston. He completed her thought. Seeks clarity, she amended. About everything, Ethan stepped nearer. I can't dictate your choices, but I can express that I truly see you now, Olivia. Your essence transcends your creations. And whatever you decide, that won't change. As she exited his office, Olivia sensed the heavy burden of the decision bearing down on her. Remain at Horizon, a place where she had struggled for recognition, yet now faced the prospect of a professional separation from Ethan. Relocate to Boston for a new beginning, departing from all that she had established here. As the afternoon waned, she had come to her decision. After sending her decision to both Meridian and the board, she made her way home, feeling emotionally drained yet oddly serene. Her phone vibrated, signaling a message from Marcus. Whatever you choose, I'm here for you. Also, take a look at your email. You may discover something intriguing. In her inbox was a message Marcus had retrieved from Victoria's deleted files. A drafted resignation letter from Ethan, dated 2 days prior. In the message, Ethan expressed his inability to remain with a company that had wronged Olivia, stating he was willing to relocate to Boston if it came to that. Though he never hit send, he was poised to sacrifice everything for her. Olivia gazed at the email, her heart pounding. The clarity she sought suddenly crystallized. She understood precisely what her next move would be. Olivia entered the workplace the following morning, her steps filled with determination. She had reached a conclusion, yet just as she was about to act on it, Marcus caught her at the elevator. There you are, he remarked, his typical relaxed attitude now infused with a sense of urgency. Adjustment to the itinerary. An all-hands meeting has been scheduled by the board for 30 minutes from now. About what? Olivia inquired, her concern palpable. No idea. But they specifically requested your presence, Marcus whispered, lowering his voice. And guess what? They requested that I arrange the conference room with images from the company archives. Strange, isn't it? Olivia scowled. Quite strange. Have you seen Ethan? Not yet. Rumor has it he's been in meetings with the board since early morning. For the next 20 minutes, Olivia attempted to focus on her tasks, but her thoughts continued to whirl with endless possibilities. Had they reconsidered their stance on her role? Did Ethan face consequences for standing up for her? As the moment arrived, Marcus guided her toward the conference room. Whatever happens in there, he said, giving her shoulder a reassuring squeeze. I've got your back. Thanks, Marcus, she replied, moved by his unwavering loyalty. Rather than proceeding to the main conference room, Marcus led her to the largest meeting space, usually set aside for client presentations and holiday celebrations. They desired additional space, he elaborated with an enigmatic grin. As Olivia entered, she came to a standstill. The space underwent a remarkable change. Every wall showcased large photographs, her examining data with Ethan, presenting to clients, and even capturing candid moments from the office kitchen. Visual representations of the timeline illustrated the achievements of the projects she had been involved in, with data emphasizing her impact. The whole team was already in their seats, observing her with intrigued looks. At the forefront stood Ethan, tablet clutched tightly, his expression a mix of anxiety and resolve. What's happening? She whispered, recalling the words from their initial meeting. Marcus softly guided her to an unoccupied seat in the front row. Just watch. The chairwoman of the board rose to her feet. I appreciate everyone being here. Yesterday, we revealed significant ethical violations within our organization that have now been rectified. Today, we aim to highlight the importance of acknowledging greatness. She gestured towards Ethan, who moved to the forefront. Many of you are aware that just last week, we came perilously close to losing someone remarkable. He started, his tone unwavering despite the clear signs of his anxiety. Olivia Chen joined us as an intern, yet she swiftly demonstrated that she is one of the most insightful analytical thinkers in our field. He tapped his tablet, and a fresh slide emerged, illustrating the increase in client retention since Olivia's arrival. Her work has not only been impressive, but it has also brought about significant change. For the next 10 minutes, Ethan delivered an in-depth exploration of Olivia's contributions. The funds she had accumulated, the wisdom she had shared, the connections she had fortified. With each slide, Olivia sensed a growing awareness of herself, seated there under the gaze of everyone around her. Yet the figures represent just a fragment of the narrative. Ethan continued, his tone becoming gentler. What remains unseen is Olivia's integrity, her kindness, and her steadfast dedication to both the data and the human narratives intertwined with it. He paused, locking eyes with her directly. Some of you might have heard whispers about my personal feelings affecting my professional judgment regarding Olivia. I wish to confront that head-on, Olivia said, pausing to gather her thoughts. My judgment wasn't clouded by my feelings, Ethan stated with conviction. If anything, collaborating with Olivia has sharpened my perspective more than ever. He clicked to the final slide, revealing an eye exam chart. Chuckles echoed in the space as Ethan took off his glasses and raised them high. It wasn't only Olivia who felt unseen, he confessed with a wry smile. I've been grappling with my perspective for years. Too proud to don these, too stubborn to acknowledge I required assistance in seeing clearly. He placed his glasses back on. The truth is, I didn't fully see Olivia at first, not because she was invisible, but because I wasn't looking properly. And by the time I finally saw her clearly, I almost lost her through my own blindness in trusting the wrong person. Ethan turned directly to Olivia now, speaking as if they were alone despite the room full of people. Yesterday, the board extended an offer for you to take on a role that involves direct reporting to them. This was, in part, to prevent any semblance of impropriety in our professional relationship. He inhaled deeply. However, I have an alternative suggestion. Horizon is establishing a new department, Data Innovation, which will collaborate across all divisions. We require an individual with vision, integrity, and exceptional analytical abilities to take the helm. A wave of whispers filled the room as realization set in. Ethan was presenting her with a leadership role, one that would elevate her to his level within the company structure. So, Olivia Chan, he said, his voice unwavering even as his eyes revealed a hint of vulnerability. Will you stay at Horizon and create something extraordinary with us? The room fell into a hush, all eyes fixed on her, anticipating her response. In that moment of crystal-clear insight, Olivia envisioned her future. She stood, her hands nervously smoothing her skirt. I already provided my response to the board yesterday, she stated, her voice resonating in the stillness of the room. I chose not to accept the position under their supervision. Ethan's expression dimmed for a moment before he quickly masked it with a facade of professionalism. I also turned down the offer from Meridian in Boston, she continued, approaching him, because I was aware there was a more fitting solution, one that respects both my professional skills and the collaboration we've established. She reached him and took the tablet from his hands. I suggested the very department you just outlined, Data Innovation, collaborating across divisions with me at the helm. Ethan's eyes grew wide behind his glasses. You did? Great minds, she remarked, a subtle smile gracing her lips. So yes, I accept the position I technically already accepted yesterday. Relief and joy illuminated Ethan's face. The room burst into applause, with Marcus leading the charge. As their colleagues reveled in the moment, Ethan stepped closer to Olivia. I have one final point to clarify, he stated, his voice rising just enough to cut through the clamor around them. What's happening between us? It's not just professional, is it? Olivia felt years of invisibility melting away as she gazed into his eyes and saw her own reflection, not as the awkward intern but as a woman deserving of being genuinely acknowledged. No, she confessed, reaching up to adjust his glasses. It's not merely a professional matter. In an act that would undoubtedly breach numerous company policies, Ethan tenderly cradled her face and kissed her, right in front of the entire staff and board of directors. The applause swelled to a thunderous crescendo. Marcus raised his hands in feigned frustration but couldn't conceal his beaming smile. As they finally separated, both a little breathless and flushed, Ethan leaned his forehead against hers. "I see you now," he murmured. "Everyone. And I don't want to look away ever again." "Good," Olivia replied, her confidence shining through. "Because I'm not going anywhere." A year had slipped by since Ethan had boldly expressed his feelings for Olivia in front of the whole company. Spring had graced Chicago with its presence, ushering in warm breezes and fresh starts that mirrored the vibrant atmosphere at Horizon Marketing Group. Olivia adjusted her glasses while examining the quarterly results on her tablet. Her data innovation department had surpassed every expectation, establishing a new benchmark in the industry for data-driven creative strategies. Under her guidance, a team of 6 analysts had enabled Horizon to acquire 15 new major clients and boost revenue by 32% year over year. From her new corner office with windows that actually opened, she could see the Chicago skyline stretching toward Lake Michigan. A framed photo on her desk showed her and Ethan at the Digital Marketing Awards, where they'd been named Industry Power Couple of the Year, much to their mutual embarrassment and Marcus's endless amusement. Knock, knock, came a familiar voice. Marcus rested against her doorframe, his dreadlocks now arranged in a more polished style, reflecting his recent elevation to Chief Technology Officer. "The esteemed analyst is summoned to the executive lounge." "Still not royalty," Olivia reminded him with a smile. "What's going on up there?" "I can't say for sure, but you might want to tidy up a bit." He indicated her somewhat wrinkled blouse. "Not that you ever look anything less than brilliant." With a hint of curiosity, Olivia smoothed her shirt and confidently followed Marcus to the executive floor, a realm she now traversed with assurance instead of the anxious uncertainty of her intern days. As the elevator doors slid open, she was met with an unexpected sight. The executive lounge had been beautifully adorned with white flowers and shimmering lights. In the center stood Ethan, appearing unusually anxious in his impeccably fitted suit. "What's all this? What do you think?" she inquired, absorbing the atmosphere around her. The whole executive team gathered, champagne flutes raised, accompanied by a number of board members. "A celebration," Ethan said, stepping forward to grasp her hands. "A vision of clarity, of recognizing what truly matters." The past year had brought profound changes for both of them. Their collaboration as equals had fortified their professional bond, while simultaneously enriching their personal connection. Ethan had grown more reflective, showing greater restraint in his imaginative endeavors. Olivia had developed a greater sense of assurance, increasingly inclined to rely on her intuition in conjunction with her information. "1 year ago," Ethan continued, "I finally saw clearly for the first time, both literally," he tapped his glasses with a smile, "and figuratively." He led her toward the windows that framed the city beyond. The setting sun enveloped Chicago in a warm, golden glow, illuminating the very building where their paths first crossed, where champagne had accidentally splashed upon him, where they had toiled late into countless nights together. "Before you, I was merely crafting attractive visuals and memorable taglines," he said gently. "You revealed to me the intricate patterns, the true narratives hidden within the data." From this vantage point, Victoria's agency across town was in sight, a modest structure that had lured a handful of Horizon clients, yet never succeeded in capturing the enchantment that Olivia and Ethan conjured together. "Who would have thought," Olivia mused, "that the awkward intern who struggled to get her boss to remember her name would find herself in this position?" "I recall your name now," Ethan said with a smile. "Olivia Chin, Director of Data Innovation, the woman who transformed everything." Behind them, Marcus cleared his throat. "If you two have finished with the sentimental stroll down memory lane, we have champagne warming up and executives growing impatient." They redirected their attention to the assembled audience. Marcus lifted his glass. To Olivia and Ethan, a testament that even the most unaware leader can finally recognize what's right before him, and that the softest voice in the room often carries the most significant messages. Laughter and applause filled the air. With the sound of glasses clinking and lively conversations swirling around, Ethan guided Olivia to a more secluded corner of the room. There's one more thing we're celebrating today, he said, his tone shifting to one of gravity. The Westfield renewal. I was already aware of that. The contract arrived this morning, Olivia responded. No, something more significant. Ethan inhaled deeply. Olivia Chun, 1 year ago, you showed me how to truly perceive. Not merely data or marketing trends, but individuals, you, us. With a poise that would have seemed unattainable in her awkward intern days, Olivia sensed a perfect equilibrium as Ethan knelt, retrieving a small velvet box from his pocket. I never want to be blind again, he declared, lifting the lid of the box to unveil a diamond ring that sparkled in the golden sunlight. Will you marry me? The atmosphere shifted as all eyes turned towards her. A woman who had once blended into the background now found herself in the spotlight, and it felt unexpectedly fitting. Yes, she replied softly. I see us clearly too. As Ethan placed the ring on her finger and leaned in to kiss her, their colleagues burst into cheers. Marcus arrived, carrying 2 elegant champagne flutes. I take full credit for this, he declared, offering them each a glass. If I hadn't repaired your computer that day, Victoria would never have accessed your files, you would never have traveled to Paris, and this entire romantic tale would never have unfolded. Your reasoning could use some refinement, Olivia chuckled, but we'll allow you to deliver the best man's speech regardless. Later, as night descended and the festivities swirled around them, Olivia and Ethan quietly retreated to the rooftop terrace. Amidst the vibrant glow of the city as night fell, they embraced the moment with a dance, lost in each other's presence. To think I almost missed witnessing the most breathtaking view of my life, Ethan murmured, his gaze fixed on hers. Olivia smiled and responded, Good thing we both discovered how to truly see. She leaned her head against his shoulder, feeling completely visible, completely seen, completely cherished. The awkward intern and her previously sightless boss had ultimately discovered a harmonious understanding together.